those of you who don't know, my name is Amber and I've been using my channel for mostly DIY videos or home videos, but today I wanted to try something a little bit different. So we are going to have a special guest. You may have seen him in my other videos, but today this video is actually going to be about my puppy. So for starters, I want to introduce you all to my baby boy, Ritz. Say hi, puppy. I especially wanted to make this video today because I've been super emotional since Ritz is actually turning 1 on April 22nd. And it's been almost a year since we've had him. So now I think I fully understand Dachshunds and how they act, their personalities, their little quirks. So I thought, why not make a video on the topic of things you should know before you get a Dachshund? Or if you're just interested in doxies, you love them, and you want to know more about them, this is a pretty good informative video. Of course, each dog has its own personalities. Even within the same breed, one will never be exactly like the other, but I have met a lot of doxie owners. I've watched a ton of videos, and I feel like a lot of the stereotypes of them are true. I truly didn't know about dachshunds until I got one. That's definitely not the best way to go about having a pet, especially a dog, which is a long-term commitment. But I already knew that I really wanted one, and I was going to work with the pros and cons of having one. So once we found him, we just committed, and now we're in it. We're in it for the long haul. And so I just thought that this video could be helpful for anyone else that's thinking about getting one or is about to have a doxie. So I thought before I get into my personal list of things that you should know about doxies, I wanted to give a little backstory on how we got Ritz, all those regular questions we get about him. For starters, Ritz is a miniature chocolate-based cream dachshund. He is a very unique color. We honestly haven't ever seen another puppy in real life that has his same coat, besides of course his siblings that were in his litter. We really don't see it. It's not a very common color, especially for short hair dachshunds. He was the runt of his litter, but usually minis are anywhere from 10 to 12 pounds max. The last time we weighed Ritz, he was exactly 10 pounds. I don't think that he is going to get any larger. Usually about like 8 months, they've reached their full growth and they're not really gonna grow that much more, which I'm really happy about because for apartment living, for city living, he's actually been a really, really nice size. As for his name, we ended up choosing the name Ritz because it's actually a bit of a sentimental name honoring my boyfriend's past mother. She used to use the word a lot, and honestly I think just because his coat is so special, he's just like a bougie little boy, and his coloring is kind of resembling of the cracker, and he's tiny. It just made sense and felt right. We wanted something that was unique, but that is fitting, and I don't even know how people end up choosing baby names. His name totally reflects his personality, who he is, and I really like that there is like also a special meaning. So Ritz was born on the 22nd of April of 2021, but we got Ritz on June 19th. So he had just turned 8 weeks. At 8 weeks, it said that they are ready to be without their mom, they have enough strength, and during that time, it's also a good time because they haven't really formed a huge attachment to the parents, and they are really formable at that point. I don't know if I really like that word, but everything that you do within that first month is crucial with a dog, as for like socialization and getting them to learn their name, training, all of those things, like definitely is a crucial time. Which will lead me into the very first tip that I think is important to know with having a doxie, or honestly any dog in general, is that training is huge. Training is really, 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 really important. I feel with doxies, and you know, any dog in general also, like consistency is really key, especially since Ritz was my first dog I've ever had. I wanted to do as much as I could since I was unemployed and was able to be a full-time dog mom. I wanted to do as much training, get as much support as I could. So we did actually enroll him in some puppy classes as well. We did about 2 months worth of classes. And we also ended up finding some free puppy classes through the city of San Francisco, which was amazing. And even though they were really basic things, I feel they really did help with the initial commands and things like that. But I will say, if you don't continue to get specified training or one-on-one, you definitely need to put the time in to train yourself. And it is a commitment for sure. And I will say it's hard work, but it's also really rewarding when you start to see your dog doing the things that you're asking them to do and listening. Also, kind of piggybacking on training, I will go into just the personalities of dachshunds. I've heard from many, and now I've personally experienced that dachshunds aren't really the type that are obedient and want to grant your every command and wish. They truly are stubborn. They have their own personalities, and it's kind of like their world and you're living in it, which is funny because it's honestly true. Like, this boy really thinks he runs the show. He does whatever he wants. We try our best to nip bad habits in the bud, but also he is like a human. He's his own person. You can't tell him anything. It is a constant process that we will be working on for probably the rest of his life, because everyone that like has a dachshund or who has like experienced a dachshund knows that they are sassy little things. It tests your patience, and that is something valid that would be good to know. One of the biggest personality traits of a dachshund that is so stereotypical but so true is that they bark. They don't bark. They roar. They scream. Like, they are very, very loud. They bark, they cry, they whine. I mean, dachshunds are actually hound dogs. You know that Elvis song? One. He wasn't just saying that because it sounds good. It is actually true. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. They are codependent. They need your full-on attention at all times. They will follow you wherever you go. They are very, very expressive, and they are very vocal. One thing that I'm super proud of, like now that my boyfriend and I are both back to work, is that Ritz doesn't cry or doesn't bark when we are not home with him. Dachshunds are known to bark for hours while their owners are gone because of separation anxiety. That is definitely something that a lot of them have because they are so codependent and needy. So they express that by crying and whining and barking, and that is definitely one of the key, if not one of the most important things to know about a dachshund. He didn't even get his bark until I think he was influenced by some other doxies in the family, honestly. He didn't even bark probably the first like month and a half that we had him. It wasn't until like he found his voice that once it was unleashed, it has never stopped. Of course, again, I must repeat that not all dachshunds are the same. Some are angels, like I see online, but they are loud. They bark. They're little. They have little bodies, but they have loud voices. You can hear them from miles away. I even meet people at dog parks that have doxies, and they deal with the same thing. It's a constant work in progress, and I hope it's not something that will be forever. I hope that once he gets older, he'll get over it. But for now, they're barkers. So just know that. A way that we keep tabs on him when we're not home is we have a furbo dog camera. It's super helpful. It gives us a peace of mind when we're not in the house. We can see what he's doing and all of that good stuff. If you do not have the luxury of working from home, but you have a fur baby, I highly recommend also getting a dog camera. I will go ahead and link the one that we use below as well. They do not sponsor us, but I hope in the future maybe something can happen. Another trait about dachshunds that I've kind of pooled and got the same information is that they don't really like going to dog parks. They're not the type to be super social in that sort of setting where they love playing with other dogs. I feel that with Ritz, we did everything right. We really socialized him during the first months that we had him, but he isn't as sociable with other dogs. When he's just with one other dog or two other dogs, it's fine, but strangers, other like new dogs that he meets going to the park, he just gets really anxious. He doesn't like being there. He really is like a human. He really likes hanging out with people more than dogs. I feel like they're more of a lap dog. They love being with their owners. They like being around other people and maybe one or two familiar dogs at a time. They definitely have social anxiety. I do see some doxies that are more, ay, Ritzy. This boy, oh my God. So just because that happened and he almost met his demise, top important thing about dachshunds is that you have to be very careful with the way you handle them. They're really not even supposed to be jumping up and down and off things because of their little legs and their long backs. It's really common for dachshunds to develop IVDD. So IVDD is an intervertebral disc disease. It's a spinal disorder that follows from the herniating of an intervertebral disc inside of an afflicted dog. When the intervertebral disc herniates, it can result in a concussion or compression of the spinal cord, causing lasting and debilitating damage. So this can basically happen two ways. Wear and tear can calcify and damage the disc over time. The rupture generally occurs from forceful impact like jumping and landing, and it can result in pain, difficulty walking, paralysis, or the inability to urinate. Now, the second way that this can happen is that the discs can become hardened over a longer period of time, eventually bulging or rupturing to cause spinal cord compression. So this type is the slow onset, therefore likely won't be any particular moment or action that can be identified as having caused this. To help prevent this, a lot of people with doxies have ramps for them to use to get up and down from the couch or from beds, things like that. In all honesty, it is really hard to control this boy because he is so fast. We do our best to try to train him to always use the ramp, but when he gets zoomies, there's no telling what he will run and jump on or off of. As I mentioned before, they are really fast. Whenever he is doing something wrong or he stole something, he has a sock in his mouth, he has something he's not supposed to be chewing, he is so fast and so hard to catch. If you're not aware, they actually even have wiener dog races because they are known to be so fast. That is maybe not exactly something you need to know, but just like a fun fact. It's something that's like kind of endearing about them. One of their like crazy funny traits. Thought I would just like sneak that one in there as well. Honestly, there could be a million things that you know about dachshunds before you get one, and then once you have one, you still learn something new every day. So I wanted to save this final thing that I think you should know for last because it's honestly the best one. And that is that dachshunds are fiercely loyal. They will not really stray away from you. They are attached to you at the hip, regardless of what you just saw, and they are really just the best. Once you have one, you can't have any other dog. I just want to repeat that, you know, I'm not a dog professional, I'm not a professional trainer, but these are just the real things that I have experienced firsthand and that I just wanted to share. This one was super special to me, especially because Ritz is literally my child. He is like my baby. So I just hope that you enjoyed it and maybe learned something you didn't know. If you would be interested in me making another video about having a doxie and the things that I've done that have really helped and worked for me. If there's something else you think that I should know about anything that I mentioned, please feel free to comment below. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please go ahead and like and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, we will catch you guys later. Say bye, Ritzy.